Hey everybody. So today I'm gonna walk through how to draw Black Panther. Much like I start most of my drawings, I'm gonna start by drawing the head to kind of set up where I'm gonna position the character. So I'm gonna put a circle in there, then come in and do the rest of the head down to the chin and the jaw. And I'm gonna put a kind of a circle where the neck's gonna be. I'm gonna go ahead and draw it through the rest of it so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And now I'm gonna start doing some of the bigger pieces of the form to kind of start, and then slowly start adding the smaller pieces to connect. So this is kind of like the back and the shoulders, and it's gonna kind of be a big, almost an oval shape to do the upper body, the chest. And then once I have that in place, I'm going to use this to kind of do my a line of action for the character for the pose. So you can kind of see the path that it's going to take. So I'm going to come back here. This is where the back comes into the sides to like the rib cage, down to the waist. I'm going to come down here on the other side and meet it where the waist is going to be. And this line is going to kind of come all the way down to the crotch area. Alright, so now, next I'm going to do the legs. Normally I would do the arms next, but I'm going to go ahead and do the legs because of this pose. So this leg right here, his left leg, but it's on our right for the drawing, is going to kind of be coming out a little bit. So it's going to be a little thicker because it's closer to you. Here's where I'm going to put the knee. Now I'm keeping this really loose right now just with the shapes and everything, and I'll go and put some put some more lines in later to kind of so you know, make it more solid where I'm gonna put these shapes. And I'm gonna put the other leg in here. This leg is gonna kind of be further back, so it's gonna be like smaller, but it's the same kind of shape. All right, so now first I'm gonna put the shoulder for this back arm, then put the shoulder on this one. Now this arm, I'm gonna have his hand kind of coming at you. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do the shapes for this to kind of show you guys what I'm gonna do. The bicep tricep shape is gonna be a little smaller than the forearm because it's further away. But remember, the shoulder, the bottom of the shoulder comes down and connects to the chest. Alright, so I'm going to have this circle for the bicep tricep area, and then I'm going to do another one for the forearm, which is going to be a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to put a rectangle for where I'm going to put the hand in. Now here, this arm's going to be coming out to the side, so I'm going to put the cylinder in first for the upper arm, and come down with to the forearm, down to the wrist area, which is going to be right here. I'm going to put a shape in for the hand too. It's a rectangle, but it's kind of, I'm put some curves in there because of the way that I'm going to put his fingers in a second. Alright, so now we kind of have all of the kind of all the basic shapes that we're using for the figure. So now it's time to go in and do some detail. I want to do the fingers, do some smaller shapes, do the fingers, and then go add some detail into his face, into the costume. Alright, so I'm going to start with this hand out here. And, you know, he's got his claws, so his fingertips are kind of pointed a little bit. I'm going to do this finger, and another one coming out. Maybe this one you can see part of. Maybe one of the other ones you can kind of see just like the tip right there. Okay. Now I'm going to come to this hand up here. And I'm going to have this hand kind of stretching out like that. So what I'm going to do the thumb first. Kind of have the thumb sticking out right here. I'm going to come and do this finger. And I'm going to put all like the fingers in like this first, and then I'm going to come in and add those nails on the end of them. But just do this first so I can kind of feel comfortable with the placement of them. Alright, so I'm going to add the thumbnail here, the nail here, nail here, another one, and then the last one right here. Guess I could have made that hand a little bit bigger, but I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, since it's coming at you, it should be a little bit bigger, but I'll see if I can make it a little bit bigger. But don't waste too much time on it, because this is just practice. This is just a sketch, so when you're going on to do some, you know, your inks or something, you can kind of fix it in that stage if you wanted to. Alright, putting those little gloves in here that they sometimes look like. This is kind of a mashup of costumes too. I'm not doing a particular costume this time. Just kind of doing a mashup of some of them. Like a little bit of the movie look, but also more of like a classic costume as well. Okay, so I'm going to come in and do the face now, then add some more details to the costume. So when I draw Black Panther, it's always tricky because I try not to make it look like I'm drawing Batman, because they have some similarities in their costumes, like especially the face. But I try and not draw them the same way so that you can tell that they're different characters. And sometimes I like to just do a plain mask for Black Panther, but like I said, this is going to be kind of like a mashup of the costumes from different places. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of like the movie and more current look, I guess, in the comics. Okay, so we've got kind of the face in there. And now I'm going to come down and I'm going to do this little, like the necklace kind of thing that goes around him. I'm kind of doing these big. You don't have to do them this big like I just did, but I'm just kind of doing it to have the shapes in there. So you can see them better instead of doing it small. Alright, now I'm going to add some more musculature in here. A little bit of ab muscles, not too much. And like if I was working on like a finished piece and I was just doing the under sketch of it, I probably wouldn't have this line going all the way down. But I'm doing this really dark just so everybody can kind of follow what I'm doing. I want y'all to be able to see the lines and how I'm like constructing it, so you can kind of see the thought process of what's going into what I decide, you know, to put where. Because a lot of times when you're drawing, it's almost like putting together a puzzle, especially when you get into like these different dynamic poses and everything. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together. You just kind of have to figure it out and snap them together. Okay, so this is pretty much it right here. I used a lot of big shapes in this one to kind of try and make it easier to follow, because it's kind of a difficult pose to get a hold on when you're a beginner, because things like the foreshortening of the arm, and even I could have brought the arm a little bit higher and changed the angle of it, but it's interest like I find it interesting like to do the shapes like for something like this, so you can you can see what's going on behind the hand, because when you finish it, the hand is up front and you can't really see what's behind it because it's covering everything. But if you draw it that way, you can kind of see how you build out to the hand. So that's why I like to use like the big shapes and show that, even though it wouldn't be in the finished part. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know in the comments what other kind of characters you'd like to see. Thanks for watching.